itself hasn't changed. It was an addition to the assessment roll for funding purposes. Okay, I'd like to welcome you to the final assessment hearing for the 2009 municipal improvement projects for Schedule A, street and underground utility improvements in Rushford, Minnesota. I guess first what I'd like to do is give an outline of my brief presentation. The first thing we'll take a look is the project area. What areas are being assessed. Secondly, we'll look at the types of improvements that are going to be done for Schedule A for this project. And then we'll go over costs, cost to the property owner, also payment options, and then costs that the city is incurring. And then go over the appeal process according to Minnesota Statute 429. And after that, we'll open it up to public comment. As you can see in the map here, this is the project area. The areas in hatched in red are the areas where construction will happen. Project area includes Winona Street, Grove Street, Elm Street, Stevens Avenue, Rushford Avenue West, Jesse Street, Ferry Street, Rushford Avenue East, Park Street, River Street, and Burr Oak Street. And once again, as you can see, if everybody's got one of these handouts, it's areas that are highlighted in the hatch that we're doing the work on. Improvements. I'll go over the improvements that are happening in these areas. First of all, it would be replacement of older water mains, undersized water mains, and the water service connections typically to the right-of-way line. The older water mains that we're replacing, these were generally constructed in 1895. So they're over a century old. A lot of them put together by lead joints. And this is something that we're replacing. In some other areas, we have some undersized water mains. The state requires mains to be larger than 4 inches. And there's an area on Ferry Street we're replacing some 4-inch water main to a larger water main. And typically, we're going to as far as the services go, they'll be reconstructed up to the right-of-way line. In some cases where there's walls, we may be slightly past it, but typically that's what we're looking at doing, is replacing it to the right-of-way line. Secondly, is the replacement of older sanitary sewer mains, undersized sanitary sewer mains that are less than 8 inches, and sanitary service connections, once again typically to the right-of-way line. Some of the older sanitary sewer mains, there was some work done in televising those mains, and found that there's significant I&I problems in those areas. One of the reasons we are replacing the sewer. New trunk main. There's a 12-inch main along Ferry Street that will be upsized to a 24-inch main. The difference in the cost of the price of the pipe is incurred by the city. And once again, the services, typically to the right-of-way line. Replacement of poor conditioned and or undersized storm sewers, storm manholes, and catch basins. In the areas, the streets that we're working, there's some storm sewer that needs to be replaced, and we'll be doing that. That's a cost that will be incurred by the city. And finally, restoration of disturbed pavements, curb and gutter, sidewalk, entrance aprons, and turf establishment. For the most part, the streets themselves will be completely paved, the width of the street. In areas where curb and gutter are disturbed, it's generally where the services are going to go to the home, where we'll replace the curb and gutter. Areas like Ferry Street, where it's narrower, that curb and gutter on the east side, that side will be entirely replaced. And also sidewalks, entrance aprons, and then reestablishing the boulevards. So it kind of gives an idea of the improvements that we're looking at doing. Costs. The estimated total project cost of Schedule A is $3,089,499. Assessments to property owners is 25.32% of that total project cost, which comes about to $782,319. The assessments per water service connection is $2,110.35 per service. Sanitary sewer connection is $1,379.93. Now, depending on, as far as the type of service, the length of the service, everybody is paying the same amount for their water or sewer service. It's per unit. Say you have a service that's 30 feet long and someone else has a service that's 100 feet long. You're still paying the same costs. It's a unit price. Street restoration is calculated at $29.28 per front foot. Full frontage was considered, your front of your lot was considered where your street address was. So if your street address, you have 100 feet frontage on your street address and you're having work done on that street, it will be that full 100 feet. For side and rear lots, it's half that footage. Now, as far as a breakdown, like I had said before, we put a breakdown into the assessment rolls for funding purposes, for PFA and deed. Kind of break down the street assessment portion of it, where you have water restoration or you have sewer restoration. We broke it down to a percentage of 45.33% of street restoration for water, and then 54.67% for sewer restoration for the reconstruction of the street.